right. Welcome everyone to another week of the AMLoB Podcast. We got Crips, we have Corey and myself. Maybe Emmons joins us later. We shall see how that goes. But of course, you know, we got top 10 rankings. I don't know, maybe y'all know how we like to go off on tangents, so no telling exactly where this conversation ends. But so
yeah, how's it going, fellas? It's weird. I'm actually here at the start of a podcast.
That's what happens when we start an hour late.
Very true. Very true.
Hey, I mean, I would have actually made it for like half of it, but I gotta love getting to the class early.
Yep. All right. So it's top 10. See what we got. You said you got what?
I got 9 right now.
Okay.
I'm filling it out as we'll be talking about it.
Okay.
Oh my God, Pook has lost 3 straight games.
He's been taking. I'm gonna go fix the sort.
All right.
Straight first losses. Drop in a little bit.
Read it right and still don't get it. Dope. But yeah. So did anybody tag chat?
I can.
Okay.
It's /podcast, right?
Yeah.
All right. Chat is tagged.
Okay. So yeah, number 1, we have Vicious. He's keeping his number 1 spot. And I mean, it's not really anything different here. He's definitely earned it with his play. Definitely with only having 1 loss at this point, which I don't even remember when or who that came to. But it was a forced loss. Forced loss too.
He hasn't lost a user game yet this year.
Yeah. So yeah, man, he definitely is handled business. It's going to be a huge game next week between him and Josh to determine just who takes that 1 seed. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, their head-to-head will set it up pretty perfectly.
So, I mean, that's going to be definitely going to be a match to look at next week. But yeah, go ahead, continue.
I was gonna say, yeah, you say he plays Josh, right? Like that's a 1 seed deciding thing, and as typically, while we all know the impact or lack thereof of home field advantage in the playoffs in Madden, the difference between Buffalo in January versus Jacksonville in January, that might matter for a lot of people. And that's not just those 2 teams, because if you've got, we all know how the gloriousness of snow in January when it comes to Madden can cause some rather interesting games every now and again. So I think that'll be a really big one to watch out for, and I'm actually going to pull it up real quick. Do y'all know off the top of your head who's at home in that game next week?
Don't, but I can pull it up.
I got it right now. It is. It is. Ooh, it is in Buffalo. A Week 16 game in Buffalo, which will be interesting because, well, I think we all know how much Mad loves that end of season snow up in northern New York. So that could be a huge factor, not only now, but in terms of in the playoffs, especially if Josh has to go up there again.
It'll be a defensive battle for sure because both of their quarterbacks are less than ideal.
Oh, definitely. I would agree 100%. Also, do you want to resort the doc? Because I'm not, or unless it auto, or does it auto resort?
No, auto resort. I'm downstairs now so that I can play Levi.
Okay. Actually, I don't think it changed anything, even though I had to go and make an executive spicy decision. All I'll say now is play your games. Don't give me a chance to
drop you.
Don't give me a chance to drop you. By taking 2 forced losses to opponents with even or better records than yourself. Yeah, that is a nice little dose of foreshadowing we have for a team that I did not put in the top 10.
Why is it? Okay.
Number 2, as we were kind of talking about, is that team that gets to go to Buffalo in Week 16 next week, and that would be none other than Josh's Jacksonville Jaguars. For all you fans of alliteration, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where you were going with that, but okay.
Just the 3 J's was all I was going for with that. I don't know. I'm a little rusty here, but I guess. He's had another great year. Obviously, that loss to LJ remains as his only blemish in the first 2 seasons of this league, but. Oh my God, is this roster dominant? I mean, I don't think there's another way to put it. And he has been playing very well this year and will probably continue to do so. And that game next week is going to be huge. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there really is to say for arguably the top team. Talent-wise, that is, in the CFM,
I think he's got the highest overall team.
Now he does, yeah, because the Eagles dropped to like an 86 or something like that.
Ooh, yeah, snow game in Arrowhead, love it.
It's always fun.
I think the fact though that he's lost 1 game so far in 2 years speaks to itself. He's a win this week puts him at 32-1, which is just ridiculous.
Yes, crazy mark.
Levi's wearing all whites. It's cheesy.
Well, I don't think
he meant
for that to be the case, Corey.
No, he meant for it.
How did he? How was he supposed to know if it was supposed to be snowing?
Oh, he knows.
You didn't know Levi works at EA? He says he works in a bar.
Oh my goodness, Jalen Ramsey. But yeah,
he's out here winning fair Sims by 21 points.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara at 3 yards of carry. What? I'm not salty. You're salty.
I see. It sounds like you are, sir. Sounds like you have all types of issues right now.
Well, speaking of snow, we got Corey at number 3 complaining about Levi's all whites as he is trying to avoid taking that fat L at home.
Definitely.
Which, I mean, this has been a great season for Corey. I mean, 11-2, which with the way that Madden kind of started the year with his quarterback situation and that O-line and some of the talent or meh talent on that defense. I don't know if I expected 11-2 from Corey in year 2, I'll be honest. But he's put together quite the season. And another little interesting note, we actually have a matchup right now going on between two of the teams with two of the longer win streaks in AMLoB, as Corey is currently on a 4-game win streak and Levi is sitting pretty with a 3-game win streak. So two teams carrying a lot of momentum into a big game. And, well, I think it's fair to say that the snow and EA will probably end up deciding that game. Because
thanks for the sack fumble right there.
I didn't say anything. But yeah, no, he's I feel a little out of the loop with how in and out I've been in terms of teams the last few weeks. But yeah, Jay, you have anything to say?
No, I mean, Corey's definitely had a really, really good season. Definitely has had a really good season. So
helps when you have a guy with 98 speed, 98.
I'm scared to say, yeah, Tyreek. And I mean, even though Mahomes hasn't been the most accurate, I think his completion percentage is still under like 50, not 50, but under like 60. But he's still, being efficient by keeping the turnovers down and throwing touchdowns. So,
for sure. He's just going through, kind of looking at some of these guys. It looks like it has been quite the year for these Chiefs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's obviously a lot of talent here on this roster, but Corey has definitely put them to very good use. So I think what he's done getting this team up to an 11-2 start this year is very impressive, and I think that'll be a team to watch come the playoffs, especially considering that with all the offensive firepower he has, to see how he can compete with some of these defensive-minded teams, like the top two teams in this conference, who are obviously two of the more talented defensive teams that there are in this season. Actually, are they?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
I got confused because the Jags also have the number 1 offense. So that's just well, good luck to the AFC. You get to play they've got the top 3 scoring defenses. The Bills are 1, the Chiefs are 2, and the Jags are 3. So I think that in itself can tell you how these teams have been winning games this year. But
yeah,
don't count out those the offenses of those other two teams either, because the difference comes in those offensive points per game. The Bills are at a flat 30 and the Jags are at 28.1, while Corey and his Chiefs are at 22.5. So Corey, looks like you need to step up a little bit.
I'm up there in a turnover differential though, and points allowed I think is low.
Oh yeah, no, you're second in points allowed behind only Bishus. So what I'm really seeing right now is that Bishus scores the 3rd most points per game and allows the fewest. So I don't really know how that happens in an offense that I'm guessing runs through LaShawn McCoy, but Josh fucking Allen, I guess, is all I gotta say. Yep. 29-11 TD to INT ratio.
Yeah.
Josh fucking Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen is balling right now.
Yeah, you forgot the man's middle name. Don't leave it out. Okay. Put some respect on his fucking middle name. All right. So let's see. Coming in at number 4, we have Lamar Jackson's Ravens. And, well, fucking hell. How the fuck are the top 4 teams all AFC?
It'd be like that sometimes, man.
Really, yep. Jeez, yeah, I mean, you see how it goes to their head, like finally cracking that 10-game Super Bowl losing streak, and now they just got to all be top 5.
Exactly. But I mean, all 4 of them deserve it, though. They all earned it.
They do. Therefore, I mean, I'm not gonna act like we didn't all have the same top 4 teams in the top 4. I'm just saying.
No, I think Corey had me at 4, and Roger.
He had 4 and 5 flipped. I thought he had 3 and 4 flipped. My bad. We all had the same top. We all had the same 5 teams in the top 5, which I guess is a little more foreshadowing there, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
Just going through, doing a quick scan through. The Ravens lead the league in points per game, which that just doesn't seem right. Everything about every bone in my body is telling me the Ravens, if they lead in any points category, it should be fewest points allowed. But nope, because they are not even in the top half of the league in terms of fewest points allowed. Well,
oh, Mahomes, slide, buddy.
I take it there was a fumble on that.
He went for a dive, instead of sliding, and he fumbled.
Now, what Rodgers done with that team this year, despite Lamar Jackson carrying the ball 17 times thus far in 13 games. Yes, you heard that right. Lamar Jackson has 83 rushing yards in 13 games.
Yeah.
What he's done with Lamar as a passer has been incredible, to say the least. And while I will continue to question the logic behind not utilizing the man's legs.
Oh no, he does. He just, again, like we were explaining to him the other day.
Oh yeah, no,
it's not as apparent to him because of the fact it's not as apparent to him because of the fact that he doesn't notice just because he feels like just because he's not taking off past the line of scrimmage that it doesn't have much of an effect on his game, but it does because you, one, constantly have to spy him, and two, he like the stuff he can get away from in the backfield because of that 90 speed is, for
sure.
Crazy.
For sure. Now, I just mean from a sense of like when I've got Lamar, I'm running 5-10 read options a game with him. Use those legs to the fullest of potential. But that's just me because I like to take advantage of having a quarterback with 93 speed or 91 speed because But now what he's done this year with that team is rather impressive. Sticking to the old Roger formula of throw the ball a little more, and then mix it right here and there. Which, at least that's how it appears, considering he has a 2-to-1 pass run ratio. Hey, whatever works, man.
I was gonna say it works for him. So I mean, I can't even
3, so can't really fault him. He's got 3 more wins than me, so he must be doing something right. Or at least I'm just doing something really wrong. Oh yeah, fuck Teddy Bridgewater. So next we got LJ at 5. Finally have an NFC representative. And it is a man who leapfrogs a couple of his compadres from last week in the NFC. I mean, I think, was your last loss to, who was your last? I was your last loss.
Yeah.
That game where it was close game, and then the disconnected and the score in the sim didn't really reflect the closeness of the game. But I mean, what you've done the second half of this season has been very impressive considering you. I mean, ever since that win over Josh, I'll go pull it up real quick, but
I was 6-1, lost 2 straight, won 1, lost another one.
But in general, the games you've played and the games you've won this year, I mean, that to start off 6-1 is impressive within itself. Looking at a lot of the teams you beat along the way, you know, the loss to Suff was, I'm assuming, a game that was closer than that force win score indicates. Of 25.
Yep. Gave out 2 that were like that. Not proud of myself, but hey, it is what it is.
Sounds like in your internet you have a longer talk, looking at how many times most of these games have this long. But no, what you've done this year has been very impressive considering considering how that secondary outside of Dante Jackson looks for you. And it's been, I think, in general, has been a good bounce back after that less than stellar into last season. That, you know, I think it's been a big driving force for you this year to make sure that doesn't happen 2 years in a row. So,
yeah, and I mean, my kind of opinion of that is the NFC's kind of been up and down with a lot of people beating up on each other, so the records may not necessarily be 10-2 kind of records, but nevertheless, it's still impressive teams, and LJ has that huge win over. He's the one blemish on
Josh's record.
Josh's record across 2 seasons.
Yeah, no, for sure. What he's done this year with that team has been very impressive. Very, very impressive. Next up, we have, let's see, a little ways down on the average rank, but next we do have Emmons at 6, who stumbles a little bit coming into this as he's lost 2 of his last 3 after I'll pull it up real quick. But he has lost 2 of his last 3. The only win in there coming against the Giants, which is a big win for him because, well, Arthur was riding high up to this point and had been only had 3 losses coming into that game. So that was a big game between 2, I believe 2 9-3 teams at the time. So, or a 10-3 team and a 9, something like, I don't know, between 2 very highly ranked teams. And he pulled out that close win, which is probably going to end up being big for tiebreakers considering how close the NFC is up top. So despite dropping a game to the Chargers after that and a close one to the Bears in a divisional matchup, I think the fact that he was able to beat Arthur is going to be a big factor going into the end of the season as he looks to try and finish up taking home that NFC North for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Emmons definitely has done a great job, especially as far as the force and turnovers piece.
Sure.
Definitely has done a great job. He stumbled a little bit as of late, but I mean, it happens. Especially, you know, in a long season, especially coming from somebody that understands that completely. But yeah, it's I think he'll get it back on track and finish the season strong. He's one of the people that's fighting for one of these many different things going on in the NFC, from division winners to just playoff performances and stuff like that. So
the fact that I think what's really crazy is when you look at records, in the NFC, there are currently 10 teams that, at least from a win-loss perspective, could still claim the 1 seed.
Yeah.
There are 3 weeks left in the year, and there are 10 teams that could claim the 1 seed. I mean, the level of parity this year in the NFC has been beyond staggering. It's just been, let's everyone beat up on everybody else. But I think it'll make for a really interesting playoff picture because I, for the life of you, couldn't tell who the fuck is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to act like it's over, but I mean, no one wants. You don't want to act like it's over, but I mean, like, there's a realistic chance that, not that it's really realistic for it to happen, but in theory, the 1 seed coming into this week, who's Arthur, if he had a rough last 3 weeks of the year, I mean, he might not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You gotta, with how close this whole thing is, every week and every game matters. Huge. Especially in conference, which is why I think that matchup of him being able to beat Arthur, even though he lost to Austin the week before, beat Arthur is going to be huge because of how tiebreakers are probably going to end up working with everyone and their brother being between 4 and 6 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy thing is that
sorry.
That's the crazy thing is that it's so many the margin for error, should I say,
it's so slim right now.
It's so small. Like you said, a rough couple of weeks could end you up, missing out on a playoff spot.
A fair sim to a team because you were out of town for the weekend.
Well,
don't leave town, man.
I was scared to say you better stay at home, bro.
There's digital football to play.
Exactly. Who cares? Who cares about seeing family and friends?
It's like you can see you'll be fine. They'll be okay.
They'll understand me canceling last minute. I got some Madden to play.
That's what FaceTime is for. But but yeah, Arthur's definitely I think the thing with Arthur is the same thing that we've always said is, just the inconsistency. 1 week you get a great performance from him, then the following week I'm kind of looking at him like, yo,
how the fuck are you 10-3?
So,
I mean, I think as much of that this year as anything is tied to Laletta and how his level of consistency or lack thereof. Usually when Laletta's got a good game, he's able to come out on top. But when he doesn't, he doesn't. Or it's not as close. And, granted to Laletta, he's played well a lot of the time for a 73 overall quarterback. Maybe that's one of those – maybe there's some of those hidden ratings factoring into that we'll never really know for sure about. But
yeah,
played amazingly for the most part. And it's carried over, and Arthur's been able to win some very big games.
I was going to say the thing with him, a lot of times he makes I'm not going to say a lot of the times, but a lot of the time whenever he's struggling, it's because he's making just really bad reads. Look at your first target and you think you see him open, so you throw it to him. Those are the type of interceptions that I think lead to the inconsistency that we're talking about.
Oh no, for sure. No, but he's put what he's done. I mean, the last year and going into this year, what he's been able to consistently do and perform has been something that I think has, I'll be honest, I think is something that surprised a lot of people. But, he's been consistent, and that's one thing that has been I mean, that's been good as he's been able to be consistent and win for the most part, despite, maybe not having the best quarterback situation, which, as we've noticed a lot this year, is usually plays a pretty big factor. So he's what he's done this year has definitely been impressive for sure. Which actually that segue works well because he was next on our he was next on the top 10. So after that, we have the biggest discrepancy, who managed to really not drop in the rankings. Actually, no, he definitely did, because he definitely wasn't below Arthur. But Pook is next at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9? I don't think he's at 9. Although I'm not sure. I'm smart. 1 second. Sorry, he's at 8. I can count. We'll pretend that didn't happen.
Didn't we just talk about your math this morning?
Let's not bring that up again. Okay, it's been a rough day for me.
I'm playing, man.
I know. We got Pook, who is all the way down at 8. As I said, foreshadowingly, I did not have him in my top 10. With how close everything is, do not give me a reason to drop you by skipping out on your last 2 games against 2 opponents who have a combined 4 losses. I will drop you. I had him at 11.
I will drop you.
LJ had him at 6. Corey had him at 7. He's had a good day.
My thing is with Pook is that I think he only has like 1 or 2 like actual losses. So that's kind of what I went with, as opposed to, and I mean he was having a solid season, honestly, until the last like couple games where he really had to just give out force wins. But
well, that's what happens when you don't respond to your opponent's DMs after you agree with time. But I don't know. That's
I have no idea exactly.
I'm not saying anything, but actually I am. But
I was going to say,
I think that's exactly what you're doing.
That's exactly what's happening.
No, but my thing with it is he's had a good season. But when you look at how many teams, granted the fact of the depth of the NFC doesn't really help, but you have so many teams in that 5-loss range, and that 4 to 5, really that 5-loss range, where you've got 3 teams in the AFC and then 1, 2, and another 4 teams in the NFC, all with 5 losses.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to kind of just be like, oh, well, that there was already so many close calls as it is, that factoring in that, oh, you missed your last 2 games against 2 opponents you could have easily lost to, it's hard to just kind of completely ignore that.
Understandable.
So that was kind of where it came where it kind of came in for me, because there is just so much, really everything beyond Arthur all the way down to probably the 17-18 range. I could see, really anything in there. I could almost see an argument for 80% of the teams over any other given team.
Yeah.
How close it's been this year. But,
yeah, but that's due to, the parity of, AMLoB. It feels really similar to like, an actual NFL type of look. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have teams that literally playoff fates, a lot of playoff fates aren't going to be decided till week 17.
Oh, for sure. What I love about it too is you see with the parity so much this year is the matchup aspect of it, where you could have a team blow out one team by 35 points and then come back and lose to a team that lost to that first team. You could have like Team A beats Team B by 30 points.
Yeah.
Team B lost to Team C.
Yeah.
Team B beat Team C, and then Team C beats Team A. Because of the fact of like play styles and matchups really come into effect when you consider that there's so many quality users in the league now.
Definitely.
I mean, Grid went from a guy who last season, granted, I think he's been struggling with some of the changeover from 18 to 19 a little bit, but he's kind of the one that really sticks out to me, where he was a guy who consistently was winning 12 games last year and is currently sitting at 5-8-1 right now. And he wasn't much. I think he was about 5-11 last year too. So I mean, I think it really just kind of speaks to the level of parity that there is in the league right now. That Dicey is 6-7, Lights is 6-7, and just beat Emmons, who only has 4 losses.
Yeah,
like that's just there may be outside of like teams that are tanking. Outside of those teams, there's really no easy wins. I mean, even a 5-win team at this point in the year is going to give an 8 or 9, 10-win team a run for their money more often than not because of the level of parity there is. And I think that's a really cool aspect that's kind of developed too. But which is again why the fact of not showing up for your games might affect your rankings a little more than it has in the past. But your games, guys. This is the guy who took a fair sim loss last week, but that's irrelevant. Coming in at number 9, we got Suff and his Cardinals.
Another team that struggles with consistency. The fact that there are times where, he makes that team look completely and utterly unstoppable with how strong that defense is. And then there are times where it just looks like where his defense is still playing strong, but his offense is just flat out sputtering. So just another team with the consistency bug. He's fighting for a playoff spot right now after, such a strong start to the season.
I mean, and we're seeing the effect with him of a bottom 10 rush offense and where that's going to get you more often than not.
Yeah.
You look at
no, you can continue. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you look at all the teams around him, outside of him and Levi, who both have winning records. I mean, in order from worst to worst offense and up, you have the Broncos are 3-10, the Packers are 4-9, the Falcons are 3-11. Then you got Levi at 7-5-1, but he had a losing record before winning his last 3 games.
Yeah,
the Colts at 2-11, the Dolphins at 3-10, and then you got Suff sitting there at, I believe, 9th.
Yeah,
or 7th. Sorry, the 7th worst rush offense. And I mean, you're really kind of seeing the effects of it. Is when you can't have that balanced offense to keep opponents off guard. I mean, you're really relying on your defense to be able to consistently play well, which despite having a great defense, that's a hard ask from any level of defense, no matter how good you are.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I think the fact that the defense is so strong, he hasn't really invested much into the offense. At least not as much as he probably needs to.
For sure.
So
Marlon Mack might not be the answer, is what we're saying. So that might not be the answer.
But yeah, so I think
no, but it's still been impressive what he's managed to do this year.
Yeah,
with that team. I mean, considering he's an 8-5 and struggles to scratch 20 points in a game most weeks. I mean, it's impressive. I mean, it takes a consistent level of defense to be able to do that. And, I think that his ability to do that week in and week out, obviously you've got weeks where, it's for the most part when you play him, it's first to 20 wins. And if his defense holds you from getting 20, you're probably not going to win the game. But if you can make plays and get to 20, well, you got a chance. And, you'd like for that number to be a little higher than not even 3 touchdowns, but his defense is consistently good enough that he can make it work. So, so kudos to him for being able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he's definitely built that defense into something monstrous. Like Khalil Mack is just a flat out beast.
Jones.
Yeah.
Hassan
Reddick.
Who Buda Baker and
that team is, that defense is something. Artie.
I want to peep something real quick. Yeah, his outside of Quentin Nelson is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of his top 8 overall players on defense are on defense.
Yeah,
granted, that's not an end-all be-all for talent level, but it's 7 of his top 8, and then it's a wide receiver, and then it's 3 more defensive players. I mean, it's what he's done with that defense comparatively to. I mean, he's got a 99 overall DN, a 92 overall DN. He's got two of the better linebackers in the league. I mean, what he's done with that team is impressive, and it's probably only going to get better. But watch out if he's able to put something together on offense. Just the one thing I would worry about looking at the ages of some of these guys is I don't know if it's necessarily a long, full cycle level of success that he's got with the guys he's got right now, but for the next few years at least, I mean, he's got some goons.
Yeah, yeah,
I think that sums it up pretty well.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, I think Suff has had a solid season. Now it's all about scratching for that playoff spot in that division title, which looks closer and closer to happening each week. But more so because his opponents his division mates are losing games. So
for sure. Yeah, and then rounding out the top 10, we have we got my opponent for this week. We got Chan coming in at number 10.
Shout out to Chan making his first appearance in the AMLoB top 10 though.
Was he not on at all last cycle either?
No.
Oh
no, he got close in the final season. I think he got to like 11 or 12.
Yeah,
he had like crazy interceptions with Dayon.
Well, yeah, definitely kudos to him for what's been a good year this year. I think we all know and have been in leagues with him before. We're thinking that with that Rams roster, he might have performed a little better than he ended up doing year one, or at least I know I did. But what he's done to be able to bounce back, and I think he's won. I want to pull his schedule up because I know he started off, I think, with a losing record a decent chunk of the way into the year and has come on as of late, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's one of those teams that started off struggling and came on, and then
he started off 2-2, and he's actually been a little wavy in the last few weeks. He's 2-3 in his last 5 games, but he had a chunk there in the middle of the year where he won 4 straight, and You know, you look at some of the guys he's played, you know, when you consider he lost to, you know, 2 of his 3 losses are to Roger and LJ, 2 of the guys above him. So, you know, he's done, you know, and he freaking browbeat, you know, our dude Connor a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to come back to hurt him all, and when it's all said and done, is the 2 losses to Suff.
Oh yeah, for sure, because that's going to be, you know,
that's going to be the tiebreaker between him winning the division title and him not. You know what I'm saying?
More than likely, yeah. With how Suff's played this year, he's probably vying for a wild card spot, and I think he knows that too. I mean, he's got a chance, but I mean, he's got a chance at the division, but Suff, I believe, is a game up on him right now.
No, they're the same record right now, but technically he's like a game up because he owns the tiebreaker.
Because he owns the tiebreaker, he's de facto a game up because Chan has to have a better record than Suff in order to have the division. So that's going to be a thing that's tough, especially looking at beyond this week, because I am leaving out all spoken opinion of my game against him. You know, he still plays Robert one more time, and then he plays Tyler, which are, you know, Robert, I think on any given week when he plays well, he can stick with anybody.
Definitely.
And I know he gave a force win to Chan last time they played, but if they play, that'll be a good one. And then Tyler, obviously, you know, I don't know what I mean, we all know what's going on with him this year, but he's been playing his games, and if he decides that if he puts together a game and is able to, you know, that's going to be a close one for Chan too, depending on Tyler's mindset in a Week 17 game.
Yeah,
but you know, that'll be a good one to watch for sure too. So, you know, and I don't think I want to double check one more thing. Sorry, I kind of am all over the place with these records and schedules and everything, but yeah, Suff has himself I mean, he's got a force win over Pook set for this week, which I didn't realize was already set, but
yeah.
Which again, there's another loss in the record books for Pook. You know, that's that might come back to bite him. But you got you know, Connor next week for Suff, and it's, you know, Connor is a guy too who I think in any given week, especially if he matches up well with him, can hang with just about anybody. And as really is the case with the majority of this league. And yeah, and then he's got Cineo in week 17, and that's
I was gonna say that's gonna be big time too, because
he lost Cineo.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cineo still has a shot at winning the division. So
if Cineo beats him in that game, and if he beats Suff, I know we're kind of bouncing around. We were talking about Chan, but if Cineo beats Suff in that Week 17 game, he's got the tiebreaker over him. The only issue is that the old Seahawks CPU, well, not just the CPU, because, well, we all know what happened Week 1, but the Seahawks themselves as a team are 0-2 against the Rams. Then it really gets interesting if Cineo beats if he beats Suff, because then the Seahawks have a 2-0 record against the Cards. The Cards have a 2-0 record against the Rams, and the Rams have a 2-0 record against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And they could very well all finish with 6 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
real possibility that a 10-6 team, like,
there's a chance that 2 or 3 10-6 teams get left out of the playoff.
Yeah. So there's a lot rotting on these last few weeks.
Oh, for sure. This is good. I mean, this is what's crazy about it. I mean, there's so little separation right now that, you know, shit. I mean, it's not really very likely, but you know, I'm 7-6 right now, and at least from a win-loss standpoint, can still take the 1 seed. I mean, it's not going to happen, but from a win-loss standpoint, it technically could.
Yeah. So
but, I mean, that's just where we are with the state of the league, with the state of the NFC especially, but really the league in general. There's just
yeah, I mean, because the AFC wildcard spots are crazy too.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's definitely quite a few things that still need to be decided. But
with this next loss, Pook is going to go to 8-6 with a four-game losing streak. And Corey, I don't know how you and Levi's game is going right now, but
DeAnthony Thomas has 2 kick return touchdowns, so it's 28-10 right now.
Okay. So Levi is looking like he's going to go to 7-6.
Yeah,
but even then, you got Levi at 7-6, Patriots at currently 8-5. The Browns will be at 8-6.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy finish for the whole league. It's going to be a crazy finish. Even it's even going to be a wild finish for the top 4 team. For the top 4 seeds in the AFC, as far as like seeding and stuff is concerned. So, but anyways, that's the top 10, fellas. You know, as you know, per usual. There will be the write-up for it, more than likely coming out tomorrow.
He gets it done.
So I will, especially since I'm finally caught up on them now. But yeah, like,
how does it feel to be the butt of the pending article
hey,
joke now?
Hey, mine only took a couple weeks as opposed to your month. But
month. Didn't we get Madden 18 stuff during Madden 19?
We did. We definitely did. We had already started the league when we got there.
Hey, no, it was, I dropped it as the preseason power rankings. Thank you very much.
With Rick Roll.
With the great Rick Roll to go with it. I'm so proud of that. But mainly solely just because of how Pook responded to it. It cracked me up. So I will always be happy with that just because of how.
Yeah. Well, that is so yeah, that's what we got, fellas. Appreciate y'all for watching. We will catch y'all next week.
Pardon all my rambling.
We will catch y'all next week, and yeah, see y'all later, AMLoB.
All right, y'all have a good one, everybody.